In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what's commonly known as post-trail depression. Personally, I think of it as maybe more accurately the transition blues, but depression is a very serious thing. So before we get started, I want to point out that number one, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just going to share with you my personal experience. And I do believe that anyone who is suffering from depression should not suffer in silence. It's not something to be ashamed of, and it's very treatable. So I'm going to put a comment down in the descriptions, just a link where you can take a quick little test to see if you think you might be suffering from depression, if perhaps it's time to talk to somebody. And I would encourage you to do that. Don't wait, because you just are too precious and beautiful of a person to suffer in silence. So if you think you might need help, please get some help. And if you're just curious what it's like to transition to life after the trail, then take a listen and you can see what I've been going through the past couple of months. I'm sitting in my car outside of REI, and I just really needed to check in and share something with all of you, and I appreciate everybody who's watching. Dixie just released a video a couple days ago, and she talked about post-trail depression, which I thought was really timely. It's something that a lot of hikers struggle with when they get home from hiking the trail, and it's something that I have been wrestling with and since I got home right before Thanksgiving. I knew that this might be the case way back when I was in college. Sometimes just the letdown of getting home after a semester, or the transition from all the excitement and energy of school to summertime was a little bit difficult for me. And so I wasn't surprised to find myself wrestling a little bit with getting back into what we call the real world, or the cotton world, according to my friend Tern. The world where you can wear cotton without getting hypothermia. But anyway, it's been a challenge, and I wanted to just share with you some of the things that I've been wrestling with, because some of you may have dealt with that in the past, or may be dealing with it if you're getting ready to thru hike. So here's what's going on. First of all, I came back right before Thanksgiving, the Monday before Thanksgiving. So I went from living a incredibly simple life where everything I needed was in my backpack, all the decisions that needed to be made. I just got up in the morning, made the decision, decided where to hike, where to stop, and all of that. So I had a lot of control, really not a lot of stress. And coming home Thanksgiving, it's like, whoa, holiday time, let's roll. So lots of just noise in life in general, and chaos, shopping, family, all that kind of stuff. So it was wonderful. It was wonderful to be able to be home and spend time with the family, but at the same time it was a bit of a shock to the system. And it is also not the best time to be getting a business back up and running. And as you probably know from watching me, I am self-employed. So one of the challenges I had before I left was that I had to tell all my clients I was getting ready to go on sabbatical. And I started telling them about 6 months before I left, and I was very pleasantly surprised to find that my fear at the time when I announced that was that they would all just go away and I wouldn't have any business before I left. The opposite happened, and I was super busy before I left on the trail. And I wound down a lot of projects right before I left. I mean, right up until just a couple days before I left. So I had just a couple of clients that I was dealing with while I was on the trail, just very minor little check-in things. And I had some subcontractors doing some work for me while I was gone. And when I got back, I was hoping to be able to ramp some of that up. But unfortunately, or fortunately, it will probably be fortunately in the long run, but I decided while I was gone that I wanted to make some changes in my business. So I've been working on executing those, but it's meaning that it's taking me longer to get back to revenue that I had anticipated. So it's creating not only the anxiety or frustration of not working for the 7 months that I was out on the trail, but now it's been, what have I been home? 2 months now. That extra time without making money. So there's the financial stress and strain, the anxiety and excitement of wanting to get back out on the trail, which I was hoping to do in March. And right now, the way things are looking, I'm concerned that I might not be able to do that. So that's a downer. That's weighing on me. And just a lot of things coming together. I mean, my dog is not doing well. I don't know how much longer she's going to be with us. Precious little baby is 16 and a half. So even if I do go hike, I'm a little worried about leaving her if she's still around at that point. So just lots and lots of things on my mind that are really a challenge. And all of that on top of trying to figure out, well, how did the trail change me? Everybody is changed somehow by the trail. And people say that and it sounds glib, and you don't really think that, it's going to make a huge difference in your life, but it does. It really almost, I think, changes your DNA. And so I'm trying to figure out those good changes. How do I bring those forward into my life and into my work? And that's another thing just to wrestle with and figure out, okay, how does this fit in with who I am now, having been on the trail for 7 months, and how do I fit that into my work so that my work is satisfying and enjoyable, and all of those things. And then the final thing is that, and I don't know how this is for other people, but having not finished is difficult, especially having 1,800 miles under my belt. I was so freaking close, and just not being able to get there is, you can tell, still bothers me. So I don't know, for people that had to get off the trail sooner, if it's easier. I know some people got off fairly early and have the opportunity to go back this year, which is great for them. And I'm so excited for some of them that I've been in touch with that are getting ready to do that. But for me, it was such a big goal, such an important thing, and I wanted it so bad. To not be able to do it is hard, and that's something that I need to come to terms with. And people keep telling me, oh, you should be so proud of yourself, you hiked 1,800 miles. And I'm like, yeah, I did, which is amazing. And I mean, it's hard to envision doing that until you get out there and start putting one in front of the other. But at the same time, I didn't finish, and I want to. So part of me was just like, well, when in my life can I get back out there and start over and do the whole trail in 1 year and take all the lessons I've learned and put them back out on the trail and see where I end up. Thinking about that, thinking about it, thinking about maybe should I go do the PCT in a couple of years and then come back to the AT after that. I don't know. But anyway, it's a lot on my mind, and that's just my story. And I'm sure that those of you watching, other people who have thru-hiked, have had similar challenges, but with your own personal twist. And I just wanted to share that with you. I'll get through it. Don't worry about me. I'm going to be okay. But I just wanted to share that so that you could get a picture of what it's like. So it's not horrible. I'm a happy person overall. I love my life. But it is a challenge. And so if you're getting ready to get out and thru-hike, prepare yourself as much as you can before you go for some of the things that you might encounter when you get back, just to help make it a little bit easier in the transition. And I will keep you posted as things develop in my life, and we'll share that with you. And as soon as I can figure out how to get back on the trail, I will let you know, and you can follow along. Take care. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of an idea of some of the challenges that I've been dealing with personally, but what I didn't tell you is what I'm doing about it. And that's the most important thing, is to take action to get out of the funk. Here's what I'm doing. Some days I'd rather just stay in bed or hide under the covers and do nothing or binge watch TV, but I am trying to get up and at least every day take a shower. You can tell I accomplished that this morning with a wet head. So anyway, get showered, get dressed, put on some makeup if that's a thing for you. And it's hard, I know, because I'm an introvert, and my first instinct when things weren't going well when I got home was just to kind of huddle up and hide. And I think you do need to give yourself permission to do that a little bit, particularly if your energy comes from being alone and you need that alone time. But also make sure that you're engaging with friends and family. Personally, I have a couple of great groups of friends. I have a kind of a business friend group that we meet for breakfast once a month, and they were super supportive of me while I was on the trail. So one of the first things I did when I got back was get back on the schedule with them to have breakfast, and they've been just incredibly supportive, working me through some of my challenges and roadblocks and getting my business up and running again. Doing routine things with friends, going out shopping, going to the movies, whatever, just to re-engage and gradually get yourself back into the everyday world. Spend some time outside. If you love the outdoors as much as I do, you probably find it very therapeutic, and it helps just to decompress a little bit. Physical activity too helps relieve some of the anxiety. And some things that you can do before you go out on the trail are, number one, having a good plan for getting some income coming in when you get home, whether that's knowing where you can apply for a part-time job, or having some business connections that you've mentioned your hike to, that maybe you're open to hearing from you when you get back, and just jump on that. So that you don't need to worry about income. Another thing you could do is just, instead of just budgeting for your hike, whoops, my little dog just found a doorstop, sorry about that. So one of the things you could do before your hike is, instead of just budgeting the money for your trip itself, also budget for a couple of months afterwards. So instead of, say, planning 6 months, plan for 8 months to cover your expenses when you get back. One other thing I would recommend is don't make any huge changes when you get home. I think, especially if you're like me and you've done a lot of the trail but you didn't quite finish, you might be almost kind of grieving the loss of that goal or the loss of that opportunity a little bit. And it's not a good idea to make big changes when you're in any kind of grief. So I'd say spend some time just sort of living into the moment, feeling what you think you might want to be doing next, and just dwell on that a bit before you make drastic changes. Don't go sell the house and move into a van until you've really had time to think about that. Now, some of those things you might be thinking about on the trail. When you get back, you can't wait to take action, and so you've had some time to think through that. But still, the way you feel on the trail is probably going to be different than the way you feel when you're at home, so give yourself a couple of months to work through that. So those are my best tips off the top of my head. Like I said, Dixie did a great video, and she's got a lot of suggestions as well in terms of how to handle post-trail depression. But I hope for you that you, if you're getting ready to go through hike or do a long hike, that you have an absolutely amazing time. It is life-changing. Do be prepared to be a different person when you get home. It's growth, it's progress, it's change, and it's all good. So take care, and thanks for watching.